Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your DJ Feels Goodman here with a video comparing two popular cartridges. This is the brand new Ortofon VNL, and this is the discontinued Shure M447 with a Gico stylus. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I've seen a lot of videos reviewing this cartridge by itself, but what I and a lot of other DJs wanted to know is how it compares to this one. The reason being that we're wondering if this is going to be the successor really to this one, and if people who still own these ones should or could switch over to the Ortofon VNL and get the same performance and the same great sound that the Shure M447 offers. Because up until now, everyone who owns this cartridge has probably been getting new styli from a brand called Gico, because they make replacement styli for this cartridge, and that's really the only way we were able to keep it alive. So, and then we have also got people who never had M447s, and the price of these has kind of skyrocketed. New, used, whatever, it's super expensive. And is it worth it? Probably not, but I mean, you still have the fact that this is a really good turntablist cartridge, and it sticks really well. So the anti-skip properties of the M447 it's basically legendary, and we want to know if this can take over. So this video isn't to say just will this be better than this or will this be better than that. It's to say that if this is going to be the successor, then all those overpriced Shure M447s online, and I guess in person too, probably are unnecessary anymore. So I'm going to compare the sound quality between the Ortofon VNL and the Shure M447, and I'm also going to compare the scratching with it. So I want to see how well this sticks, how well it does not skip compared to this one, and also some technical stuff, like for example the tracking force on this one. The Ortofon VNL recommends 4 grams. This one, I believe it's 3 grams for this one. So we're going to get to it. So the test equipment is going to be one brand new Technics Mark 7 turntable on a Pioneer DJM S9 mixer. And yeah, I know it's probably not the absolute best mixer to test sound on, because I have a feeling that it does some analog to digital conversion somewhere along the way. And I do have a Allen and Heath Zone 92 at the warehouse, but it should still be good enough to give us a comparison of the sound qualities between the two. So there's that. So stick around and let's see what's what. Okay, so now that we've got the Ortofon VNL mounted to the head shell, just a quick couple things, key differences between the Ortofon VNL and the Shure M447 before we do the actual sound test. Interestingly, the VNL comes with 2 other styli. They're actually different from each other. So there's 3 styli in total. One that comes on the cartridge and 2 spares. The other 2 are all 3 of them are different in that they have different compliance ratings. So one of them is 16, one of them is 15, and one of them is 14. Now compared to the Shure M447, this one has a compliance rating of 20. You only get one, but it's 20. So whether that's better or worse, I don't know. I'm not an engineer in that point, but from what I've heard, at least, you would notice a difference in sound between those ratings. And possibly you would maybe notice a difference in tracking. Also, there's a difference in frequency response. All 3 styli on the Ortofon VNL on this cartridge will give you a frequency response of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, whereas on the Shure M447, that's 20 hertz to 17 kilohertz. So it's going to be a bit of a different range there, and maybe we'll be able to hear that difference on the recording. So that's about it for major notable differences.
Okay, we're now in Audacity, and on the top waveform that's done using the Ortofon VNL, and the bottom is the Shure M447. This is the same part of the same vinyl record, a DJ Ghost remix of a classic trance track, And once again, that'll be in the description in case you're wondering what the track is, and I guess to give credit where credit is due for this test. Okay, so I'm going to play each one, and when it's blue like this, you know that's the one that's playing, and when it's gray, that's when it's not playing. Okay, so let's begin. First, the top one, Ortofon VNL, and I'll just switch off back and forth as it goes. Hopefully, along the way, you'll be able to notice the differences between the two. Okay, let's do it. Okay, that's the end of the audio test, and in my opinion, purely subjective, I don't think the VNL sounds better than the M447, nor does the M447 necessarily sound better than the VNL, although they do sound different. And what I'm hearing is that the VNL is more pronounced on the high end, whereas M447 is stronger on the low end. On that note, sometimes it sounds like the M447 is not as clear in the mids as the VNL. The VNL, the mids are more clear, but the sound overall is a bit smaller than the M447. That's just my interpretation. That's what I hear. And again, because of that, I wouldn't necessarily say that one is better than the other. You can just expect a different outcome depending on which cartridge you choose.
Okay, so that was a sound test, and now another interesting, important thing to do is the scratch test. So we want to see which one of these two are going to stick better than the other. And so that this does not become like a super long video, on the Ortofon VNL, I'm going to use the original stylus that's on the cartridge. So it's basically number 2, which is right in the middle of the range of compliance ratings. And yeah, so let's do the test. For this test, I just wanted to mention that we're going to use real vinyl, and it's going to not be one of those scratch sample vinyls, because on the scratch sample vinyl, you have repeating sounds, and if the needle skips backwards or forwards like one groove, you're still going to be within that sound, and that's pretty useless for the test. So I'm going to use a real record, and we're just going to see how hard it is to make each one of these skip and put it through the limits. So let's find out. Okay, so here it is for the scratch test. We're going to start off with the Shure M447 cartridge. I want to mention that it is mounted at 3 grams, and it's rotated 23 degrees, which is supposed to mimic a straight tone arm. It's one of the options that was talked about in the Shure instruction manual. And I'm going to play one of the beats of this DJ Ghost record, which sounds like this. And so I'm going to scratch over that beat, and I'm going to go faster and faster until the needle jumps out of that groove. And maybe I'll do this a couple times, and that'll give us kind of an idea of the Shure M447. And then we're going to do the same thing again with the Ortofon VNL, and I'll give my unscientific, just subjective opinion on which one is sticking better. So here we go. Okay, skipped out right there. Looks like it skipped forward, so I moved it back a little bit. Let's try it again. There we go, skip that again, let's move it back. One more time. Skip that again. Okay, I think it's fair to mention that this vinyl record is actually quite wobbly, so I chose it on purpose because of the fact that it is a little bit wobbly, so we can see which cartridge is going to handle this type of thing better than the other. So you could tell from the M447 on this record that short, kind of quick scratches, it can handle up to a certain point, then it falls off. So going to skip now over to the VNL mounted at its recommended weight, and we'll do the same exact test again. Alright, I've got the Ortofon VNL mounted now. Again, this is number 2 out of the 3 stylus choice that comes with this cartridge, and its recommended weight was 4 grams, so it's mounted at 4 grams, and it's also mounted with a 23 degrees angle to mimic the tone arm. Basically same exact situation as with the Shure M447, and same part of the record and same test. So here's the sample. And let's see what it can handle. So we're going to start off slow and go faster and faster. Right there, it finally skipped out. Okay, so that was a scratch test, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed by how sticky the Ortofon VNL cartridge stuck to that record. I mean, it's easy to see that it was way better than my Shure M447. But one thing that's important to note is, while the Ortofon VNL was brand spanking new, my Shure M447 with Gico stylus is about a year old, maybe a little older. The cartridge being a little bit older, the stylus being newer because it's been replaced a few times. I don't know if the fact that it's not a Shure stylus, the fact that it's a Gico replacement stylus, has anything to do with how sticky or not sticky the cartridge is on the record. It may very well have something to do with it. And the real test would be to have a brand new Shure M447 with its brand new authentic Shure stylus mounted to it. But the problem is, I think I'll never be able to make that test because it's just not easily available, or it's available but it's super expensive. So that might not be a realistic thing to do. In turn, I do like the way the Ortofon VNL cartridge sounds, and I really like the way it's sticking right now. And it's about $100, so I think it's cheaper than M447's, the last remaining ones anyways, and definitely a viable option. So for me anyways, I feel like I've gotten to the bottom of this mystery, and these are gonna be replacing my M447s as main cartridges, and I will have the Ortofon VNLs mounted all the time, and have the M447s as backups in case I need them. Of course, I still have my Ortofon Concord 2 mix cartridges, which I'll probably use when I'm spinning trance, and when I'm going to do anything that requires some scratching, I'll probably have the VNLs mounted instead. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful for you. It was definitely helpful for me, and I will see you in the next one. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments, if I did something super inaccurate or whatever, or if this was helpful for you. I'd like to hear about it. And if you're not already subscribed, give me a subscribe. Just lets me know that you're there. I think something like 80 or 90% of people that watch this video, or my videos in general, aren't subbed. So if you thought this was good, I have a lot more stuff coming your way. And yeah, that's really it. Bye for now.